Hello, my name is Serrano Keith Baldio. I am the former publisher of the NJ Pulse News in Paterson, out of Paterson, New Jersey. And I know, so we have some information today we want to disclose about Harry Melber concerning a police officer that pulled him over. And we're just going to bring up a photograph here. This photograph is of Harry Melber. Before we show you that one, let's show you this one. This photograph is of Harry Melber chasing the wife of a publisher, who happens to be me, down a freeway. If I can just point, right here is her car, a woman all on her own, coming home from work, not suspecting that she was being stalked and hunted and chased down. And right behind her is Harry Melber's car. You can say they're almost bumper to bumper. There's a white vehicle here, that's a police vehicle. The other one is another police vehicle. And this camera here is a dash cam from the police car that's about to cut him off from to try to protect her from him. And our background shows that Harry Melber, again, is has no training as a police officer or detective. I don't know, just did maybe a couple of courses and got a license. We're trying to contact the state troopers to find out how he got a license. People are saying, we have a witness that's saying, a qualified witness, that his act was intentional to go after her, to get caught. And while he was chasing her, the fear of her safety was more important than what he was attempting to do. So I reported it on my Facebook page. He decided he was going to take advantage of that. So here's a police officer pulling over Harry Melber and speaking to him. So we blurred his driver's license, so there'll be no personal information. Matter of fact, this is a temporary vehicle, this police officer told me. And while this was happening on a lone street like this, I received a phone call from the cops, and with my wife with them, and she was crying. And fear for her life, fear for her safety. And we tried telling the judges this, and nobody was listening. Nobody is listening. Because Harry Melber was hired, they said, by political officials in the city of Paterson, and he even said that in court. He was hired by Paterson to target my wife, to go after her. He's trying to portray himself that he's some kind of just an ordinary guy doing his job, but he was not. So here's the police report. This officer, I asked him to send me a copy of the report because he said he found Harry Melber to be very suspicious. At this police stop, he never showed a driver's license and never showed insurance. But he said in a complaint, in a defamation complaint, under oath, that he showed this. So it's strange that he's saying that and the cop is saying something else. So anyway, here's the police report. Harry Melber. That's public record, so we can show it. Anybody can get a copy of it from Verona. And in the police report, it says the operator of the minivan was identified by Harry Melber, who identified himself as a private investigator and produced a New Jersey licensed private detective ID card. That's it. Attached to, and they attached a copy for me. Melber stated he was following the vehicle confidentially as to the reason that his client who hired him. So he didn't want to tell the cops why he was following her. He identified himself as self-employed and stated his business address was the same as his home address. However, an internet search revealed that Melber works for AHM Investigation, so he lied to the police officer. So the police officer got suspicious and had to go and do an internet search on him. Melber was asked if he followed Baldio last week, and he stated yes. So this was not the first time he did this to her. We have another video with him chasing her. I mean, they were like hunting her, and I wasn't allowed to say that, but I don't care. This is my opinion. Hunting her like an animal. I didn't say that in my previous post, but it said, I don't know how he got there. I think he might have changed it, but in my opinion now, that's, yeah. And then my wife was allowed to go and file a complaint, and he was charged with stalking, reckless driving, and careless driving. So the ID that he showed the cop and gave a copy to the cop, or gave a copy for that ID to be photographed. Let me see if I can find a copy. So here it is. This is the ID that he showed here we go. This ID is what he showed. It has no address or home address or anything else on it, so it's not protective in any way to trace him. Just that he has Melber private detective. That's all you can read on his license number. So that's ordinary. That's part of court documents as well. It's in the he sued, so all this got put into the documents. So now it's public record, so you can't try to hide. He's been trying to call YouTube to try to put it down and say it's private information. But all this that I'm showing you right now, all these image of him is part of court records, court documents. It's been publicized. He's on public TV, and his attorney, the same thing. He's got public images all over the place. So none of this stuff is private. And they've been trying to get YouTube to take down all the videos. But no, it doesn't come down. You don't do this to somebody's wife. Lied to the police department. And I wanted to show you his complaint, but I couldn't find a copy of it. And so in his complaint, he said he showed the cop his driver's license and insurance, and he swore on the oath that he did that. Here's the cop. This, by the way, is a dash cam video that recorded everything that was going on between Harry Melber and that police officer. So I can use this and show the judge, and we are suing him currently, and we're going to put all this in the evidence. He sent us a settlement, and the settlement was just horrible. He wanted, on top of what he did to my wife, it's hard for me because I think about the 4 to 5 hours she was crying that night, came home, sat on the bathroom floor. He wanted us to pay him money on top of it. And at some point my wife said, just pay him the $500 and the lawyer would pay $200 and he'll go away. But then he put a stipulation there that if I ever speak of this case, of what they did to not just him I didn't care. If I speak about what it is, which goes back to the officials in Paterson, I would be penalized $25,000. So I told him to go to hell. Take that out, take the oral stuff out, because somebody can easily call me or in conversation, say something about him, and they can penalize me. So the oral stuff I wanted off, and he didn't want to do it, so I told him to go to hell. I got to pay you on top of what you did to my wife. You don't want to apologize. So anyway, they took this to some sleazy judge they know from Passaic, because I filed criminal charges against these judges, and they had the judge fine me $79,000 and $50,000 punitive damages because what? Because they were trying to get me. This is all the government's case. He was hired by Paterson, the officials in Paterson, to target my wife to get to me. They went back to him and paid for him to sue me on top of it. So this is the government's case. He's just a puppet. So anyway, the cop is telling me that he lied. It's no ID. They had to go online and search for it. Anyway, that's what it is. That's what Harry Melber is all about. Getting caught, going after people's innocent wives, not apologizing, but instead being used as a puppet to go back and sue her. And that's just not. He's no training in the PI world, no detective, nothing. He's out there trying to play detective. So we're trying to make sure that I didn't care, but I did say we need to shut him down and we need to stop him from hurting other people and their family. But you know what? I think people seeing these videos will know what he's about. Cops pulling him over, he's getting caught, he's chasing people, and AMH investigations. We're not going to give up. We're going to make sure that people know the truth. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to make stuff up. All this is court documents, so I think I just want to put it out there to the public about who this guy is and what he does. Background is that he had a couple of failed bars, a couple of failed businesses, and now he's trying this. He's hurting people, and he's hurting them bad because he doesn't know what he's doing. This is Saran, and thanks for watching, and bye for now.